Well, good morning.
Morning.
Welcome back to the channel. And if you're new here, my name is Tanya and this is Levi. And we are in our future solar room.
Yeah, and so our next step here is to drywall this room. We want to finish it off so it looks really nice. Before we cover this stuff up with drywall, we need to put some blocking in. We have our panel box here and our inverter. These require us to have some blocking in there because we're going to put those on the outside of the drywall. So we need to have adequate blocking behind it. So let's just open this up, take some measurements, and start blocking.
All right.
All right, so first thing is, here's our mounting plate. This is gonna hang off of, our inverter is gonna hang off of this. And so what this is gonna be is it's gonna be somewhere here. We're gonna try to hit these two studs, but we're also gonna put solid blocking right here so that we can put some extra bolts in here. This inverter weighs about 120 pounds, so it really requires you to make sure you hit a stud and to get in there. So that's our bracket that we need. And then these are going to be used for the side to hold them on. And then let's open this up here. Oh man. Here's our inverter. It's 18 kPV from EG4. This is a powerhouse of an inverter. This will run our whole house for us, and I'm so excited to get this thing hooked up. So now that we got it opened up, we can take some measurements. I know that bracket is 2 inches down from the top of this inverter, and what I want to do is I want to line up the bottom of our inverter with the bottom of our panel box, because that's going to have a lot of wires that are going to run from either one, and I want to just have a nice clean look for all the wires to just be nice and lined up. So the first thing is this inverter is 34¼ inches. Okay, and then here's our panel box. It's 23 inches. So we're going to go ahead and just make sure that we have blocking in there based off the bottom of both of these units. All right, went over to the scrap pile, grabbed a couple blocks here. We're gonna repurpose. This was actually the, I don't know what you'd call it, but it's like the little jig I made for the barn when we framed the rafters for the barn. So we're gonna go ahead and just utilize this. It needs to be 14½ inches long. We had a whole bunch of 13-inch pieces that are sitting there, but this was the only one I could find. So that's perfectly fine. It'll work great for that. So let me grab a skill saw. We'll cut these to length, and then we'll go and install them in the wall. All right, so now that we have all of our measurements and all of our marks on the wall, we're gonna go ahead and put our blocks up. And I'm just gonna use some regular construction screws. I'm gonna use a little bit longer ones for this big block because that inverter's so heavy. I wanna make sure that that's really, really fastened to the wall really well. So I'm gonna go ahead and just throw these in, and then we'll start drywalling. All right, so this panel box has it's made to go in between the studs. You can kind of see how it would fit in here, and because the inverter has to go on the outside of the drywall, I'm going to go ahead and mount this box on the outside of the drywall. So to do that, I'm going to utilize these 2 screws up here and these 2 screws down here. So because of that, I'm going to go ahead and cut another block, which I did, and we'll throw 2 blocks in over here instead of just 1. Do the top one after we do this one. All right, you want to make sure that it doesn't stick out past the 2x4. All right, so now the last thing we need to do before we can drywall this room is to run a wire from our switch that's going to turn the light on in this room over to the switch that's going to turn the light on outside of this room. That's going to be kind of our junction box where our power is going to run to. All these lights that are going to run in here are going to be on the same circuit. So we'll just run a wire from that box to that box, and then we can start drywalling. All right, before we run that wire from the switch box to the outside switch box, I wanted to show you guys, we also went ahead and hooked up that temporary array to the camper. So we just extended these wires, ran them over underneath, and then up into our access over there, and then ran them over to this MPPT. And this MPPT is not as big as the house one, obviously, but it can handle 4 of those panels, which is why we hooked 4 of them up. So just wanted to show you guys that. So now that we got that set, we can go ahead and grab, we are using number 12 wire for the whole barn, and we're going to go ahead and just run that. All right.
Just grab it if you need to, and then I'm gonna pull it. Okay, hold on. Oh, slow down. Okay, pull slowly. Are you pulling? Okay, keep going. Just nice and slow. Okay, can you pull more? Okay, now try. There you go. Okay.
All right. Had to take the insulation out just a little bit, a couple spots. Obviously, if I was going to do a bunch of wiring in here, I would have waited to insulate. But just having this one wire, we had a little bit of a struggle, but that's all we need to do. So we're all done. Just let me staple this wire up against the studs, re-staple the insulation back on, and then we can start drywalling. Mr. Man. All right, I just spent the last 30 minutes with Tanya trying to find my compass. What we want to do is, you can see this, the roof of the shipping container has those corrugations in it, and I want to be able to scribe the drywall to take those out so that when we push this first sheet of drywall up there, it looks pretty nice to where we could just caulk that when we paint. And so just gonna have to improvise. So I'm taking my collection of Home Depot pencils, and I'm gonna make myself a little jig here that hopefully will be able to scribe that corrugation up there. So let's stick your end in the corner. Watch your hand.
Where in the corner? Right there?
Right there. Alright, now let's just slide it. Alright.
Is yours up all the way?
But see, that's the problem, is it might not get up all the way because of the angle of the that dent right there. So I think that's as high as we're gonna get.
Okay. I don't know if I can hold this.
Okay, so what we can do is we'll throw a couple screws in it. Where is everything?
You're gonna have to help me push it back up.
Alright. Just get a screw where you are. Pencil.
Would it be easier just to throw like a trim piece up there?
Might have to. Looks like a 2-year-old was coloring. Peel your side out.
What am I doing?
Take your side all the way out.
Right, but where are we going?
Just right down to the ground. Drop it down just a little. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay. So we're not gonna go. All right, ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay, go to your side. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Okay.
Drywall.
One sheet done. Go so fast.
It was the scribing part.
All right, because we didn't glue the sheet, we're just going to go ahead and put a couple extra screws in the middle. I think if we glue it, we only have to have 1 screw in the middle. But if we don't glue it, we have to have 3 screws in the middle. So down 36 and 13. So now we got our 2 holes drilled for those, the main feed to the house and the PV line coming from our solar arrays. We're gonna have to disconnect this one that goes to the camper temporarily, feed them through these holes, and then we'll throw this piece of drywall up, then we'll reconnect everything. Push it in a little bit more in your corner. There you go. Okay. I got the sheet if you want to pull all the wire.
Did I get them?
The red ones, black ones look good, the red ones are all loose. Here's 1, 2, 3.
So they're not going to actually go through, right?
Nope, the pipe won't go through, but I just want the hole to be lined
It's got to come
straight.
towards me. Well, looks pretty close.
Okay.
Could come my way still a little bit, but it can't.
It can't.
All right.
That's close enough.
Okay.
Yours can actually go behind that other 2x4. You just have to push it in on your side. I got the sheet. The top is where you're messing. There you go. Okay, now how does it look? Now it's too far, huh?
Mm-hmm. There you go.
Look good?
Yeah.
Right, you got it?
Yes. Nope.
All right, I got this. Can you grab the drill and the screw?
You're like, oh, it's so light.
For me. All right.
Nice.
That is the ground. That's the hot. All right. So now I think we're gonna have to do a little bit of carving where that dent is.
Okay.
So we'll pick it up, then I'll mark it. We'll set it back down, do a little carving.
Okay.
All right, so we totally decided just not to glue. That big giant glue gun is such a pain in the butt. It leaks all over the place. We have like a half a tube that's already open, but honestly, I would just rather have to patch a couple extra screw holes than do this. So.
And this isn't like.
This isn't the house.
Yeah.
You know, we are gonna tape and mud this, but you know, we're not too worried about it.
Yeah.
So just gonna go ahead and keep going. Too deep. Shout out to Mike Hill. So we're gonna have to stick mine into this corner and then peel yours in, so it's the opposite of what we've been doing. Oh, I'm off just a little. Three and a quarter. 83 and a half. So you're gonna have to go extra. Okay.
It's okay, I don't need my pinky. Best one so far. This is the easiest one.
All right, you got it?
Yeah, sure.
Just temporarily. Okay. All right, I got. Do you want me to dip right to your side?
Are you sure yours is up all the way?
I don't know.
Doesn't look like it.
Okay, go back to your side.
Okay.
It's up there. I think it's just because the ceiling kind of falls down just a little bit.
Okay.
Oh, there it goes. All right.
Well, good morning. It is the next day. We have just a little bit of the drywall left to do today.
Yep, just a couple little pieces.
Yeah,
I was able to use some scrap up yesterday, and we basically just have our little half pieces because this shipping containers are 9 feet tall, not 8 feet, so these sheets are 4 foot tall. So just gotta fill in little scraps at the bottom.
Yeah.
Still have to put our hardy board up for our inverter. We'll show you guys that.
Yeah, so we don't have any drywall mud, so we're gonna run up to the hardware store today. We also need some gas for the generator, and we'll be able to get that done. And we were also planning on planting all of the trees that we got, and we will show you guys those. We're really excited about it. So
I want to hurry up and get this drywall so we can get outside. It's beautiful sunny
it is
day. The sun hasn't been out in a while.
A beautiful day. You know, if you've been watching our channel at all, you know this is our favorite view out the front of the barn, and it is absolutely beautiful. Riders out enjoying running around. Are you having fun? Yeah? All right, let's get this drywall finished.
10 3/4. Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. All the drywall's finished. Last thing we need to do is mess with that hardy board, and then we can finish this room. All right, so here is where we're gonna mount our inverter. And our inverter requires us to have something that's non-combustible behind it. So we're gonna come out with a couple inches on both sides, top and bottom, with some hardy board, which is non-combustible. You could probably use Durarock, you know, any of those backer boards for tile would be perfectly fine. We're gonna use the hardy board because it finishes a little nicer, and when you paint it, it looks a little nicer. So we're gonna go ahead and just mark it out. We know our inverter is 34 1/4 inches tall and 20 1/2 inches wide. So we're just gonna kind of center it between our studs here, and we know we want the inverter to be 40 inches off the floor. So we're gonna come down a couple inches, maybe we'll go like 4 inches all the way around it, just so we're, you know, code wise, we're perfectly fine. And then we'll cut this out and then throw that hardy board in here, and then we're done.
Nice.
Let's put the bottom in first.
Okay.
Supposed to be ½ inch, a little shy. Alright, so this hardy board is so dense. I had to put a junk skill saw blade on there to cut it so that it would look nice. You can use a razor knife, but it would just destroy the edge of it. So we're going to go ahead and just put about every foot, we'll put a screw into these studs, and then we're going to tape and mud all this stuff so it'll just disappear. But we're definitely going to pre-drill through this stuff, because if we put a screw through there, first of all, it's probably going to mushroom out. It's going to look bad, but it's also going to countersink it really nice so that the screw looks good. So let's put screws in here. And we're going to be using, these are special treated screws for Durarock or any type of backer board. All right, we're all finished. So we'll run up, get some mud, and finish this drywall out, do a lot of sanding, and then time to go pick out some paint.
All right, so we mentioned earlier that we went and picked up some trees. Here are the trees. We have just under 200. We bought 150 from the Arbor Day Foundation, and then we bought 40 from a local nursery that is run by the University of Idaho. Because we don't have these bare root trees soaking in water right now, we're gonna wait and plant those tomorrow. But we are gonna get these ones planted today. So we are down at the front of our property, down by our Bet and Hitch Farm sign, and picking where we want to put these trees is kind of the hardest part, I think.
Yeah, no kidding.
You know, we want to create privacy, like we mentioned. So, you know, we worked on how much space needs to be between each tree and kind of like a location that they like. Most of our property is about the same in the way of like moisture.
Sun, full sun. Like
Yeah.
We have no limitations really.
Right.
Except for that we have kind of a clay
soil.
But pine trees that are from this area are used to that type of stuff.
Yeah.
Should be fine.
So I think the first tree we're gonna plant is a Dawn Redwood.
Yeah. So we're about 25 feet away from our sign. They get pretty big, so we want to make sure that they're far enough away, and that way there's no tree that blocks the sign when you pull into the driveway and stuff like that. So.
Right.
And then I think we're just going to start from here, just around this little creek that we have right here. We're just going to start planting trees.
Yeah.
We have all those Arbor Day trees, so anything that we don't get to, because we only have 5 of these trees, each kind of these.
Ones, yeah.
There's 8 different varieties, so we're going to kind of intermix those on the front of the property here, and then tomorrow, after we soak those Arbor Day ones, like you said, then we'll come in and we'll just kind of interspace,
plug them in
where they need to be. Let's just try that.
Yep. And another great thing about us planting today and tomorrow is that we are supposed to get several days of rain, which is going to be wonderful for these newly planted trees. That actually looks like pretty good soil.
Yeah, it is.
So here is our first tree that we're going to plant. Oh, that actually looks about perfect.
Perfect, yeah.
So we had wondered like if we needed to fertilize these trees, and actually they say that you don't really need to fertilize them the first year. So we're just gonna follow what they said, and after that we'll make sure we throw a good fertilizer for them down
It also says not to bury any foliage. And it says don't do the death stomp.
Yeah, don't take your shoe and like
Pack
compact
it
it
in.
down. But you don't want any
Air.
And we are not experts.
Not at all. Please don't take our advice. These will probably all die. So
we, you know, Googled everything. We were concerned too about the, you know, like the fresh dirt smell attracting the deer.
Yeah.
So hopefully it won't, but
I mean, if I was a deer, I'd be like, that tree looks delicious. Look at it.
All right.
There's
now,
one.
if we had some mulch, we would put some, you know, around, but we don't. So this is exciting, though. First tree is planted.
What's our next one?
I don't know. Look how pretty this tree is. Hi. You gonna help us plant? Yeah. All right. How many is that? 5?
1, 2, 3, 4.
4. We've only planted 4. See the barn. What a beautiful day. Would you say we've planted about half?
Oh, half maybe?
So we've gotten 20 trees planted.
Ryder found a ball.
Yeah, Ryder found a ball and a bone. We took the bone away from him because it started crumbling and I didn't want him to get hurt or sick. So we're gonna kind of move back over towards where the driveway is and evaluate that area over there. Gotta make sure I watch where I'm walking. Make sure I don't step on one of the trees we planted. But we're finding that there are some hard areas to try and dig through, so we're just kind of avoiding those. So there's another bone. Oh, that's a giant, maybe, could be a femur. Wow, that's huge. Ryder, come. What's this? Oh, come here. I don't even know if he could carry that. It's so heavy. You want it? Here, let me set it down. I think it's too big. Yeah, definitely a femur.
Yeah, good boy.
Good boy.
Good boy, Mr. Man.
Or a good swill. All right, we got 35 of the 40 trees planted. And we, as you saw, we just lined this whole side of the driveway.
I think that's gonna look awesome.
I do too. So we just kind of like spaced them 20 feet apart, and we just went along the whole line of the driveway and used all the different varieties. So it'll be like a different variety each tree. Yeah. And the sun is kind of behind the clouds and we'll be setting here really soon. We're gonna save these other 5 trees for tomorrow when we plant the other 150 trees. Yeah. And
those ones we have to soak, so that's why we didn't bust those ones out. So we have to soak those for like 4 to 6 hours. So we'll get up right in the morning, soak them.
Yep.
Work and on then the barn or something, and then
yeah, plant some more trees. So we'll see you guys in the morning.
See ya.
All right, so it has actually been a couple of days since we were last out here. It was really cold and rainy. It has been raining all day, but we have a little bit of a window before the rain starts back up, so we are gonna get planting these trees. We had one more tree that we need to plant here by the driveway, so that's where we're gonna start. So these are the bare root trees that we ordered from Arbor Day, and we have decided to plant a white spruce here. What do you think?
Yeah, that's good.
Maybe we're gonna need to buy some mulch, yeah?
Oh boy.
All right, we have 149 more to go.
Oh.
These trees are pretty nice too, honestly. It's gonna be one of those ones. Yeah, that one. The Black Hills spruce, I think. All right, so we got about 32 of the trees planted, basically from where I'm standing down towards the back of our 20 acres. I am standing right on the property line. We basically want to build a privacy fence with the trees. So we want to get them planted, and hopefully they do really well this winter, and next spring we'll show some growth. Levi just walked down towards the front of the property to see, like, make sure we kind of stay on our line. We do have Onyx maps, so we're kind of, you know, keeping an eye on that. You can see the barn behind me and the house foundation.
All right, we're getting rained out. It's getting dark. We still got to go gather eggs and do some evening chores, so we're going to call it for today. I think we're going to take the trees back out of the water and put them in like some moist cardboard or something in a bag, just to keep the roots moist but not soaking in water. And then we'll do the same thing tomorrow. We'll throw them in water for 2-3 hours, and then we'll start planting. So this is a really nice, probably one of the nicer of those, of this type of tree. Oh look, here's another one. Wonder if this counts as a one. Do you see how that's one tree of the 50, and here's another tree of the 50. Come on, really? Here's our little dude.